To Minneapolis now, where the defense in the trial of Derek Chauvin has rested its case. The former Minneapolis police officer told the court that he would not take the stand in his own defense. And that sets up closing arguments to begin on Monday. But we just learned a short time ago that MPD here in D.C. will be activating every available officer in the event of possible large-scale demonstrations. Mike Valerio obtained the internal MPD bulletin. He joins us now with the latest.
Well, Larry, this is a full department activation of MPD beginning Monday and lasting until further notice. And this is in response to the possibility of large-scale demonstrations or the related possibility of large-scale lawful protests being joined by actors who want to destroy businesses, set property on fire, of course, in response to a possible verdict in the trial of Derek Chauvin. So here's what essentially this means. All officers will be on 12-hour shifts beginning Monday. That's when closing arguments in Chauvin's trial begin. All vacation time for officers is canceled, which allows available officers across the force to be in a position to respond if First Amendment protests are joined by more destructive actors. We know this was an alert sent out across the force this afternoon by the Special Operations Division. And Larry, that's the part of the force that handles civil disturbances and these large protests that happen all the time across the city. But important for us to note, there are no large-scale protests planned at the moment. The defense only wrapped up just a few hours ago. But for all intents and purposes, Larry, this is an all-hands-on-deck alert for MPD for the possibility of large-scale protests and/or violence following the outcome of this trial.